everybody, it is time for my favorite part of every single video that we do. It is time to make the list. As I always encourage, please feel free to comment your list in the comment section below, or feel free to email me at eatsleeplistpod@gmail.com. The email address is in every single video description that I post. Would love to hear some great stories of giving gifts to people. It doesn't necessarily have to be for Christmas. It could be giving whenever. All right, but the effort, the thought process, the inspiration that it took to find the perfect Christmas gift for somebody. And I would love to hear about it. We could all use inspiration in that. I most certainly so. Even though I feel like I'm a lot better at the gift-giving process, I know I can always do better. I can always do better. And I love to hear about the thought effort that went into it, into giving people the perfect gift. So, all right, here are 10 that I really, really enjoyed giving to people. All right, these are 10 things that were not on a specific list handed to me, but just things that I was like, ooh, this person would like that. All right, so I hope you enjoy this, and let's get to it. My number 10. We're going to start off with some gifts that I gave last year to my friends. And I've talked about in past episodes how rough last year was for myself. All right, I was on family leave. The day before Thanksgiving was my last day of work before the end of the year. And I was excited. I was like, wow, I get all this time. I get to spend with my kid, my dog, and everything's going to go hunky-dory perfect. And boy, oh boy, was I wrong. All right, dog passed away within a week. And my family leave paychecks didn't start showing up until like 3 or 4 days before Christmas, which is not great when you're trying to go Christmas shopping and buy people stuff. So I was on a tight budget. And for my friends, I didn't have a lot to give. I couldn't go out and buy cool, thoughtful presents. So what I did was I thought about what connects me with certain people. All right. Football. All right. Football is one of my love languages, one of my universal languages. I have a very special connection with a lot of great people because of football. All right. So what I did was I went to my studio. I had a big box of trading cards, and I put together card books. All right. Because I think collecting cards is fun. Someday we're going to do a card list, I'm sure. But I have friends who are Buffalo Bills fans. So my two co-hosts on Eat Sleep List, the audio version, Brian and Dan, put together Bills trading card books. Just divided them up, gave them everything that I had, threw in a couple other players that I knew that they really enjoyed, and here you go. And I mean, I felt bad about it, but also like I seen how they reacted, and it made me feel really good. All right, because again, that high expectation of giving stuff and things, spending money on stuff and things, and this made me realize that like I didn't have to do anything at all, and they made me feel good that I gave them something of my own. Like it was a piece of me, because I love holding on to all that stuff. And like I gave them my Bills stuff. I had a friend who's a Lions fan. I gave him a Lions book. A friend who's a Dolphins fan sent him a Dolphins book and Steelers, and I gave my brother a Chargers book. Like it was really cool. I was really glad that I got to pull something out and give it, because it was a struggle. It was a struggle. So that's my number 10, sports card books. My number 9. This one was a delight to give. So I have a friend, Will, who is probably one of my biggest supporters on this channel and outside of this. And a couple of years ago, I think it was 2023, we were a part of a podcast called The Panel Discussion. And it was nonsense. But we like to get each other stuff. I tend to get all my podcast co-hosts something as a thank you. So it's me, him, and our buddy Johnny, who lives down in North Carolina. And Johnny knows what I'm getting my buddy Will. All right. There's some humor in it. There's some seriousness in it. The best thing about this is it's all recorded. I have an audio version of it so I can relive that moment. The video might still be somewhere, but the audio it's all you need, because Will has the most contagious laugh I have ever heard. And it was a joy to watch him opening this. So it's a box. He opens it up. He gets a Thrawn book series, so the new Star Wars Thrawn trilogy, which a book series that I really, really loved and thought he would enjoy. He's a big Star Wars nut like I am, so he sees that right out of the gate. And then he's a big Muppets fan. All right, huge Muppets fan. So I found the Muppets puppets from McDonald's. It was a 1995 NHL series. There was 4 puppets in it, and they were huge. They were huge puppets, and he liked that. And then the best part was he's looking through it, he's enjoying it, he's loving it. He goes, "Wait, there's something else down here," and it was a Bill Cosby autographed picture. Now the humor in this is that on the show we did a lot of impressions, and he has one of the best Bill Cosby impressions I've ever heard. All right, one of the best. And say what you will about Bill Cosby. We like doing impressions and making fun of people who are bad. It takes away the power from them, I guess. And yeah, so we give it to him, and it's a picture of him with a spark plug and a Ford shirt. And it was just so funny because his laughter upon receiving it. And it didn't stop there. He actually put the photo, he sent us a picture, but he put the photo in one of the photo frames in his house. And his wife, it took a day or two for his wife to find out. But just seeing his reaction was my favorite thing. It was my favorite thing. The joy that he got out of opening that, especially there's one more thing. So really loved that he took to it as well as he did, and just the laugh that ensued. But that's my number 9. Number 8. This is one I got from my dad. My dad's usually a pretty easy guy to buy Christmas presents for. He likes video games and he likes sports, and he likes work stuff. So he's always good for a video game or two, right? It's a layup. But I found this Atari 2600 retro. I think it was a flashback console. It was preloaded with a bunch of games on it. But I knew that my dad had a fondness for the Atari 2600 because I had an actual Atari 2600 when I came home from Rochester, and he sounded I remember I told him I sold it, and he seemed kind of disappointed. So when I found this thing preloaded, about the same size, it had the 2 controllers. He opened it up on Christmas, and it was really cool to see him play these games again. All right. I mean, I'm seeing him play them for the first time, but for him, this is his childhood, right? He grew up in the 70s and 80s, where the Atari 2600 was the be-all, end-all when it came to video game consoles. There really wasn't much else. So I got to play, I don't know, 10-yard fight or one of those older sports games, and we were just trying everything. And to see him like a kid again on Christmas. Again, he didn't ask for this. He didn't ask for this at all. But to see him kind of like a kid again, right? Because when you get something like that, as a kid, you plug it into the TV and you try to play it as soon as everybody's done with presents. And that's exactly what we did, is we played Atari 2600 bright and early in the morning as my mom and sister were putting breakfast together. So the Atari 2600 flashback console, retro console, whatever the heck it was called, that is my number 8. My number 7. I gave this one to my brother-in-law. Brandon. And I was not very kind to Brandon when he first started coming around. In fact, I was really, really awful to him. and I feel bad about it always. All right, feel bad about it always. It still bothers me. I was just a miserable human being, and yeah, it's a story. I treated him bad. Um, One of my favorite gifts that I ever gave, and this was kind of like the start of me and him kind of really getting close, and more so me opening up to him because he deserves so much better. He's a big Navy guy, right? Him and his father used to go to the Army Navy games, if I'm not mistaken, the big football games. That was a big tradition that they go to, and I was going through some stuff, and he's a big history guy. I love talking history with him and all sorts of, war stuff. He likes guns and all that, yada, yada, yada. But I was at this resale place, and I came across old history stuff, and I found a World War II U.S. Navy medal that was like given to somebody on some ship or whatever the heck it was. It was legit, very cool. And he's one of those people too. He doesn't ask for much. He's like, just give me gift cards or something like that. But I bought him this, and he was like, whoa, that is really, he was generally surprised and happy about it, and look, was looking at it, and it made me happy that he enjoyed that. It was something, history is something that me and him can connect about, but just to surprise him with something that is a little bit unconventional, but he likes as far as I know, he likes collecting that sort of stuff, and it fit right in with his, his interest in the Navy, and all that too. But finding him that World War II medal was all the worth it. So that's my number 7. Let's go to my number 6. One of my Brian, again, one of my audio Eat Sleep List co-hosts, Brian. Me and him were really starting to gel in around Christmas time, 2020. I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, I think it was 2020. Right around then, I just met him a couple months prior, and now we're starting to really come together. All right. And I remember asking him to come up to the studio. I said we're going to record something, and I had a surprise for him. And this is the first of many awesome gifts that we've both exchanged with each other. But it was a Stephon Diggs autographed Buffalo Bills helmet. All right, this is basically when Stephon Diggs first came to Buffalo, and he was pleasantly happy about receiving this. Who expects to get an autographed sports helmet? You know what I mean? It's so random, but I don't know. I'm like the worst person when it comes to having money. I give so much. And I don't mean to come off as an arrogant dude, but I want to take care of the people who I love and care about. I want to give them cool stuff. And me and Brian were really getting tight at that point in time. So it was of course, this is easy, and something he'll definitely love and be surprised about. So the Stephon Diggs helmet, I love when I get to see him recording because he has it on a shelf behind his desk. It's always really neat to see that. So that's my number 6. Number 5. A couple years ago, hooking my buddy up, Dan, and he's a huge Batman fan. Dan is so much heart, and I love watching him just succeed because he's really big into doing plays, theater stuff, and he was actually in the Buffalo Bills Hallmark movie for just a teensy bit in the background. But I love taking care of Dan because he's been so good to me. He's been so good to me over the years. And he loves Batman. Huge Batman fan. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to get him something that he's definitely not expecting. I got him the complete set of 4 Batman Forever cups from McDonald's. Those crystal cups that they used to you have to pay extra for. For certain movies they'd give them out, but I dropped that on him, and as well as his brother's girlfriend gave me some direction in finding some cool Batman autograph stuff. It was printed, but it was it was art autographed by all the people from Batman the Animated Series, and he was super excited about it because he lives for Batman. He has tattoos. He's read all the books. He's very, very into Batman. So definitely happy. He's the best too. Like giving him stuff, like his reactions, are genuine. Even though he's a theater dude, there's no BS when it comes to like he's actually genuinely happy when he gives stuff, and he makes you feel good. So very, 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 very proud of that one. All right, my number 4. This one actually went to somebody that I've never ever met before, but I had heard through the grapevine through another friend that this mother was looking for a Pokédex for her kid, one of the vintage Pokédex, like Kenner toy, Hasbro, something like that. But it was an electronic Pokédex that came out in like the late 90s. I bought one for myself. I had a couple as a kid, but my friend knew that I had it and reached out about seeing if I was willing to, if I knew any deals about it or was maybe willing to part ways. And she brought it up. She's like, yeah, she just really, really wants it. She just doesn't care if it's used. Doesn't care if it's new. She just wants this for her kid. And I was like, I'm not really ready to part ways with it yet. But then I thought about it. I would be a terrible rich person. But I had money. All right. I was well off. And I said, just get me the address and I'll pay for it. It was like $60 for a used one of these things. And I did. I bought it and sent it. And this lady, again, I have no idea who she was elated, super thankful. And like, that's the power of like Christmas and Christmas gifts, is that she couldn't afford this, right? She's got her own bills and stuff and whatever. And and some stranger helped her out with this thing, helped her kid out, made her kids Christmas. And just to see that reaction, to be the thankfulness, I guess. God, this sounds really egotistical now that I'm like talking out loud, but I don't know. It was nice. It was really, really nice to give and make somebody else's day. So that's my number 4 is the Pokédex. Number three. My brother. I gifted my brother a couple years ago, probably a decade ago. I hurt my leg really bad, and I was out of work for like a couple of weeks, and him and my mom waited on me hand and foot. Like, they took very good care of me. But I knew that my brother wanted like a lightsaber, like one of these awesome Hasbro Force Effects lightsabers. They were not cheap. I had an Anakin Skywalker one that I loved and cherished, and but he really likes Mace Windu. And of course, the purple one is more expensive, but he did such a good job taking care of me that I got it for him. All right. I don't know if I don't think he knew it was coming. All right. I don't think he expected it, but it's like, yeah, here. Thanks for taking care of me. Here's this lightsaber. And he was loving it. He still has it to this day, still keeps it in pretty good shape. Actually, I just used it back in May when I was actually taking pictures for the thumbnails. But yeah, giving him the Mace Windu lightsaber was really cool, and I know it made his day because we actually had a lightsaber battle in the living room on Christmas Eve. Turn off all the lights, and it was one of those things where if you give it a little bit of impact, it reacts. So yeah, the Mace Windu lightsaber. That's my number 3. Number 2, custom NFL jerseys, and this was another thing to my podcast friends. All right, I talked about on the show, I used to have a football podcast called The 2 Point Conversation. And in that group, I had a lot of co-hosts because I love talking football with people. And these were some of my best friends. All right. I have friends who are Bills fans, Steelers fans, Commanders / Redskins / football team fans. Oh, God. There was a lot of Bills jerseys. Dolphins fan. But what I wanted to do was thank them because the podcast was pretty much coming to an end. I was tired of it. I was tired of the Facebook page, just the awfulness of people. I was tired of a lot of aspects of doing it. I was doing it 5-6 days a week. I was just tired. But I never really properly thanked them for what they did. So all of them were there for 2+ years at least, some of them 3 or 4. So what I did, again, I had money. I was working extra shifts. I was working tons of overtime. I bought them all custom NFL jerseys with their name on the back, with their favorite team, all that stuff. And I've never regretted it. Not once. It was a lot. It was a lot of money to dish out. But I had it. I had it. And these guys gave me years of time coming in on a weeknight once or twice a week and helping me out and trying to make this podcast thing work. And it was wonderful. And, a lot of my one buddy still messaged me, the Steelers fan, still messages me sometimes. Oh, yeah, they've been doing really good since I got this jersey and yada, yada, yada. And that, makes me proud. And sometimes, they flash me. They show me. Oh, they don't flash me, but they show me that, hey, I'm wearing my specific jersey, which is always fun to see. And I'm glad that years later now, this is 3 years later since I did this, that a lot of these guys are still rocking it and taking good care of it. In fact, my buddy Dan, who I ended up doing it, I think it was a birthday gift, or maybe it was something else after that, but he wore his Bills jersey that I gave him. He wasn't part of my football show, but he wore the Bills jersey that I gave him to the Bills Hallmark movie in the background, which is that's so cool to me that he appreciated it that much that he wore it in a tailgate scene in the background, something that I gave him. So custom NFL jerseys, that is my number 2. And my number 1, in my opinion, the best Christmas gift that I've ever given. In fact, I probably peaked a little early in the Christmas gift giving process, but my dog Prince, who after a year and a couple months, I purchased for my now wife. It was a sign that, I've never been one to date just for the sake of dating. If I'm going to date somebody, it is an investment of time, of money into a future. And after a year and a couple months, I was like, okay, I want to do this. So I was looking up different dogs. I wanted something hypoallergenic, but small and all sorts of things. And I found this little Yorkie. He was out of somewhere in Ohio. It was $300. No, $300-400 to get him in. My work helped me out with the money, and we got him. He flew in. The thing that was wild, though, is I had jury duty the week that he was supposed to come in, and I didn't know if I'd be able to pick him up or not. And fortunately, it all worked out where I got out early, got to go pick him up at the airport just in time, and bring him home. And I still never forget the first day I brought him home. This was a couple weeks before Christmas when I was going to gift him to her, and just him becoming assimilated. He was so little and tiny and just light. He was probably 5 pounds when I got him, and then Christmas Day came. She was over for Christmas Eve night. She slept over, and then I gave him in a box. I still have the video for it. I love looking back at it. But I gifted it to her. And she was so surprised and happy. And here she is, this little dog. And this little dog, held us together. There was a reason to kind of keep coming back to each other, even when things weren't all that great. And I love that little dog. I miss him dearly. He's the dog that just passed away last year. Had him. We had to put him down 10 years to the day where I picked him up at the airport, which made it especially difficult emotionally to do that. But what a great dog he was. Never forget him. I got ornaments. We still hang his stocking up. He's such a good boy. He was such a good boy, and I miss him dearly. But I've peaked. Like, that was the best. You can't. It's hard to come back from that. Everything else has been. Here's my list. Get this. You really can't top surprising somebody with a dog, and easily the best decision I ever made was buying Prince for my wife and eventually, obviously, our family dog. So there it is, everybody. That is the top 10 gifts given, my personal favorite gifts given to people. We did it. I think it came off pretty well. Talking out loud, it does sound like, I did a great job buying people these gifts, but I think I did an all right job explaining the importance of why, of the gift-giving process. This Friday, we're doing the John Cena list. All right, we are celebrating the retirement of the GOAT, the Doctor of Thugonomics, the Champ, so many other nicknames, and this is gonna be like our only non-Christmassy one till Christmas. So I want to celebrate him. We're going to talk a lot about him. He means a lot to me in the world of wrestling, of pro wrestling. So that's what's to come up. We did put a poll up, and right now, at time of recording, it's the top 10 John Cena moments list. But that can all change if you decide to vote a different way. But thank you so much. Love and appreciate you all. Again, don't be afraid to leave a comment about some of your favorite gifts given. But yeah, we'll talk to you on Friday. Till next time, do you even list?